Good job.
Thank you, Joaquin. Thanks, everybody, and welcome to the class. And Tony, I'm going to try to stay up here, too, so you don't have to look back. Okay, am I good? My name's Herman Lyons, and I come from Kansas City, Missouri, so Region 6, and it's nice to be in Huntsville, my first time. We went to Gulf Shores, Alabama last year for family vacation, and we had a good time, so it's good to be back. What I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is small business GWACs. By a show of hands, has anyone ever heard of a GWAC? So more than half the room? Okay, cool. My objective today, guys, is not to teach you everything I know about GWACs. My objective is to give you enough to know how to contact me or to be dangerous or to know what website to go to when GWAC questions come up. Fair enough? Let me go ahead and give you my email address. I don't think it's on this presentation. I think a general one's at the end, but it's Herman, which is Herman, and my last name is Lyons, Lyons. So the email is herman.lyons@gsa.gov. And one thing I always like to do is let you know how many slides are in the presentation. We got 90 slides, but we'll get through them quickly, okay? No, we only have 30, guys. We only got 30. Yeah, so cool. So this first slide is about ITS. The GWAC program is part of GSA's Integrated Technology Services portfolio, which is underneath FAST. And they asked me to put this slide in there so you guys could see how much money goes through ITS and how much we've saved agencies and all those things. So now that I've done that, we can move on. My objective, guys, again, just a basic understanding of small business GWACs, and I'm going to use names such as the VETS GWAC, the 8A Stars 2 GWAC, and the Alliance Small Business GWAC. When I say those, so a GWAC, I'll get into that. But when I use these names, you guys heard the schedules program, Schedule 70, Schedule 36, Schedule 84. We just don't call them Schedule something. We gave them those actual names. So whenever I mention these contract vehicles, when I mention these names, these are contract vehicles, okay? Really quick, do we have any industry partners in the room? Just FYI. Okay, great. Scott, go ahead and just raise your hand, Scott. Scott Denniston is very, very close to our VETS GWAC. If you have questions about VETS GWAC and the capabilities of those industry partners, Scott works very closely hand in hand with them. I'll ask Scott to come on up after the presentation, and maybe we could field some questions together if need be, okay? Moving on. Identify the benefits of a GSA GWAC, how to place a task order award, because task order awards are being placed against these master GWACs, and we've got some pretty cool tools in the GWAC program, tools that talk about spend, prices paid, things like that. So I'll show you how to get to those. We'll go ahead and skip that slide because I already did my due diligence and talked about ITS. The left side of the screen is the GWACs I'm going to be talking about today. The GWAC program is divided into two. On the left is a small business GWAC division in Kansas City, Missouri. We manage those acquisition vehicles. On the right is the enterprise GWAC division that manages the Alliant GWAC, the full and open. You got your major IT integrators on that GWAC. Today we're just going to be talking about the small business GWACs, but we've got some references in there to Alliant as well. So what is a GWAC? The acronym stands for Government-Wide Acquisition Contract, and it's for basically a task order contract for IT services and IT solutions. When we talk about GWACs, folks, I don't want you guys thinking about tables, light bulbs, chairs, things like that. Just think about IT services and IT solutions, okay? And those are the types of things that you can procure using a GWAC. The contracts were established by one agency for government-wide use. In this case, GSA is that agency. There are other agencies that manage other GWACs, like NASA has NASA SUP, NIH has CIOSP3. So in this case, GSA is the one managing these GWACs. Every year we have to report to OMB to keep our executive agency status. So we're doing things like how many task orders were awarded, how many advanced scope reviews did you do, how many businesses won GWAC task order awards, so those type of things just to make sure we're in good standing. And the last bullet means it's not subject to the Economy Act. The Economy Act talks about interagency acquisitions, nothing to really worry about. FAR 16505 talks about ordering procedures in relation to GWAC. We all good so far? Perfect. A little bit about the GWAC's history. The small business GWAC division has been around longer than I have been with GSA. In 1999, we started with our first set aside, the 8A Fast GWAC. And the reason I have this slide up here is because I just want you guys to know that this isn't a fly-by-night organization. We've awarded and we've administered several small business GWACs, over $12 billion in obligations. So we take great pride in knowing that over $12 billion have gone through the hands of small business industry partners. That's important to us. 15.3 is our estimated, 15.3 billion is our total estimated value. So that's the value if all these task orders go through fruition, they will be valued at around $16 billion. Oh. So why use GWACs? Speed and efficiency is the first one. I'm not sure if you guys went over to the schedules class earlier today, but issuing a task order against a GWAC as opposed to just doing your own FAR 15 requirement saves time, right? You don't have to go out and put this solicitation on FedBizOps. You don't have to do a full-blown evaluation. You don't have to do all these things. GSA has done the heavy lift. So just come to us, and if the vehicle is right for you, you can place a task order award against it. Obviously, procurement lead time is drastically reduced. There are certain situations where procurement lead time is virtually eliminated when we talk about the 8A Stars 2 GWAC and the ability to issue a task order award without competition at all, below $4 million. So if you can imagine, especially towards the end of the year, that becomes quite important. GWACs provide access to highly qualified contractors who provide worldwide solutions. We've probably got about a total of 700 contractors across those 3 or those 4 different GWACs, okay? So know that if you're going to issue a GWAC task order award, you're getting some of the best in-class IT solutions providers. Flexibility. We like to let people know you can issue task order awards against the GWAC using your own staff, or we've got the flexibility in using GSA's assisted acquisition service. Anybody know about GSA's assisted acquisition? Okay, it's few. Let me go ahead and tell you. GSA has a shop, and all they do is do acquisitions on behalf of other agencies. So especially towards the end of the fiscal year, you get in a crunch, you don't have the resources to get a task order out, give me a call, shoot me an email with the email I just gave you. I can connect you with assisted acquisition. They get your requirements. They do the requirements. They do the evaluation. They administer the contract, and they put it to sleep. So just keep that in mind, the flexibility there. Contract types, firm fixed price, time and material, labor hour, cost reimbursement on some of our GWACs, or a combination of the 3 or 4. So really the point here is that I'm trying to drive home is that there's total flexibility with the type of contract that you can issue when using a GWAC. This is always a big question that I get is the contract access fee, or in the schedules world they call it the industrial funding fee. So we've all heard that it costs 0.75% to use a GWAC, right? Or a GSA vehicle. And I got to be honest with you guys, as long as I've been in the GWAC program, I've never seen anybody write a check and we cash a check another federal agency. So what I'm trying to let you guys know here is that 0.75% is remitted to GSA by our industry partners. Okay? If you guys issue a task order award to a VETS GWAC contract holder, they're going to perform, and it's their responsibility to issue a check back to GSA. So when you're looking at or you're evaluating whether or not to use a GWAC or schedule something along those lines, I don't want you guys thinking that at the end of the day, you guys have to write a check to GSA, okay? Okay? GWACs, solutions-based contracts. Our slide says agencies can access a pool of experienced contractor to meet 8 IT services requirements. When we talk about IT services and IT solutions, I want you guys to think big. I want you guys to think about $100 million, $200 million requirements. As you can imagine, all of the pieces and the components and little pieces here and little pieces there that need to be combined for a total IT solution, GWACs can handle that. There's no need for contractor teaming arrangements where contractor A needs to hook up with contractor B and C, and we have to do this formal contract teaming arrangement. It's just not needed. We, as GSA, could care less who the prime contractor subcontracts with and works with. It's great because it gives that contractor great flexibility in who they choose to work with or partner with, okay? So when you guys are thinking IT services and solutions, think big. We can do it. I was taking a look at some statistics last night, and we've got a couple task orders on 8A Stars 2, 8A businesses over $100 million. The VETS GWAC task orders over $75 million. So I tell you that because I want you to realize that small businesses can perform. Not all of them perform very well, but there's quite a few on these GWACs, a big handful of them that have the experience and are really almost close to being a large business, but considered small, and they can take care of these tasks for you. Very important, protestability. Basically, if you issue a task order award under $10 million, it's protest proof. Okay? Except on those grounds that the task order exceeds the size, the scope, the duration of the master contract. Basically, the only way somebody can protest something underneath $10 million is if a task order is issued that is not IT. Okay? So know you have a safe harbor underneath $10 million in terms of protestability when using the GWACs. Good thing, right? Nodding heads, no protest? Good. We talked about shortened procurement lead time when issuing task orders against GSA GWACs. I'll tell you how it goes. So we have a master contract, and in the case of the 8A Stars 2 GWAC, we've got 580 industry partners. And let's say a requirement comes across your desk. You said, I think I'd like to issue a task order award. It's really pretty simple. The first step is to obtain a delegation of procurement authority. Let me ask this, how many warranted contracting officers do we have in the room by a show of hands? Okay, all of you, I want you to see me afterwards because I'm going to give you guys something that's going to give you unlimited access to all of these GWACs, okay? So once you have that delegation of procurement authority, in the case of Stars 2, you pick an industry partner based on maybe their self-marketing or you've worked with them before or whatever. You issue the task order award, issue them 1449, they start working, and that's it. They perform, you perform the closeout when all is said and done, and it's all over, okay? So remember, we've set up the master contract, the heavy lift. It's just a matter of you issuing the task order award, okay? Socioeconomic credit, important to some people, important to a lot of people. Just know that when issuing task orders on any of these GWACs I'm talking about, the VETs, the 8A Stars 2, or Alliance Small Business, the socioeconomic credit will be passed down to you, the agency receiving the services, okay? So if you're looking for VETs credit, if that's important to your agency, you're not sure if you're going to meet your VETs credit goal, issuing a task order against the VETs GWAC will help you out. Along with it, they're going to be small business too, right? So you'll also get the small business credit. Issue a task order in 8A Stars 2 to a veteran who's also a small business. All small business, you get 8A SDB credit, you get your veteran credit, and you get small business credit, okay? So now that we've talked about kind of what GWACs are and I've thrown the name out to you, I want to let you know this slide isn't very good for presenting. But I put this slide in here for when you guys get this next week. Next week, Joaquin, they'll get the presentation. So when you guys get this next week, it's a great slide just to sit down and kind of look at GWACs side by side, the small business ones, okay? I'll go through it since I have it up here on the screen. But the first row, and I don't have Joaquin tells me I don't have a pointer, but it's kind of hard to read, but the first row says industry partners. And across the very top, 8A Stars 2, VETs, and Alliance Small Business. What the first row is just telling you the number of industry partners we have on each contract. So the 8A Stars 2 GWAC, we have 582 industry partners. A little bit about 8A Stars 2 was awarded as an 8A set-aside. We're going to be exercising the option August 30th of this year, but a great contract vehicle. The next one is the VETs GWAC. We've got 23 primes and 9 mentors. And you might be saying, how the heck you get mentors in there? What happened is that we went through the base period on the VETs GWAC and we got to the point where we exercised the option. And you get to a point, you're like, we got a small business GWAC, but all the businesses should be small businesses, right? What do we do with those who have become other than small? And so when we get to the option, we ask them to re-represent their size, and there were 9 of them who were doing great work, but they weren't small businesses anymore. So in terms of bench strength, we keep them around, and we let them continue on task orders that they've already started and where they're incumbents and things like that. So when you're thinking about the VETs GWAC, I want you to think of the 23 prime contract holders, and there's 9 of them on the sideline who provide this great bench strength. Same situation with Alliance Small Business, the third one over. We awarded it to 68 industry partners who were small business. 20 of them did really, really well. So when we exercised the option, there were 20 that we represented as other than small. And so they're the bench strength on the Alliance Small Business GWAC. Okay? The next row talks about the contract period. Each one of these GWACs on the screen had a 5-year base with 1 5-year option. Okay? The 8A Stars is the only one we're still in the base period with. I should say 8A Stars 2. The VETs GWAC and the Alliance Small Business GWAC were both in the option period on that. I would like to tell you, although I'll use 8A Stars 2, for example. 2011 to 2016 with one 5-year option. So that to me says, well, this GWAC just goes to 2021. But I want you guys to know that's just the ordering period. If you issue a task order award on the last day of that ordering period, it can continue on beyond that. In the case of 8A stars 2, it can then go on 3 years, Alliance Small Business, 5 years beyond. So the point I'm trying to make is that if you put a task order in there, I'm not going to pull the carpet from underneath you, okay? Your task order can continue to go on. Let's talk about fair opportunity. You guys have heard of fair opportunity. I know the GSA schedules class was talking about fair opportunity. Fair opportunity is giving every industry partner an opportunity to bid on every single task order award, okay? So the nature of the GWAC program is fair opportunity. If you issue a task order on the Alliance Small Business GWAC, the VETS GWAC, and the 8A Stars 2 GWAC, anything greater than $4 million, you must provide each industry partner a fair opportunity to bid for that task. How do we do that? E-buy. You guys use e-buy? Yes, no? All of our industry partners are pre-populated, or I should say loaded into e-buy. And what that essentially means is that when you come out with a requirement, a solicitation, you put it on e-buy, you can rest assured knowing that everybody saw it. And if they didn't see it, it's their own fault, okay? And let's say somebody comes back and says, you posted this out there and I didn't see it. Well, that's your bad. You're supposed to monitor e-buy. So what I'm really trying to drive home is that if you put a solicitation out on Alliance Small Business, VETS, or 8A Stars 2 greater than $4 million, everybody needs to get a chance to see it. Now, the natural question is, hey, Herman, I don't want to receive 36 proposals. And it's true, guys. We've done analysis over the years. Alliance Small Business, the average number of proposals that come back is 4. 8A Stars 2, 582 industry partners. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The average number of proposals, and I can tell you because I do this, I run this report on a monthly basis, is between 6 and 8, okay? And VETS is probably about 4. The reason why is because you guys probably have a great idea on how much time, effort, and money it takes to put a proposal together, right, in response to a solicitation. My 8A companies don't have the time or the money unless they feel like they got a 96, 97% chance of winning that thing, okay? So that's how you can rest assured. Now, one thing I didn't talk about, or maybe I talked about it earlier, is so this 8A Stars 2 GWAC, what happens for those task orders that are going to be $4 million and below? Fair opportunity is not required. The FAR and SBA regulations say you may issue a directed task order. We don't like to call it sole source. We call it directed task order to an industry partner with an estimated value at or below $4 million. Okay? 8A Stars 2 is our most popular vehicle. When I say most popular, I'm talking about thousands of task orders issued. It'll show us on the next slide how many task orders issued because it's easy to get to an industry partner. Okay? But keep in mind, even though it's easy to get to an industry partner, keep in mind that Alliance Small Business and VETS really only have an average of 4, maybe 4.5 responses per proposal. Okay? What do we have here? The next is just kind of how our GWACs are broken up. 8A Stars 2 is broken up in what we call constellations and functional areas. And essentially what that is based on the type of work that you're going to issue would determine which functional area it goes in, okay? And that's all something we can help you out with. Next slide, we talked about contract types. We've got the different contract types across the top of the board. The one thing I would like to point out is that Alliance Small Business allows for cost reimbursement type contracting. You guys doing a lot of cost type contracting here? Yes, no, maybe. Well, if you do have the need for cost reimbursement type contracting, it can be done on the Alliance Small Business GWAC. Number of task order awards. 8A Stars 2 has done over 2,500 task order awards, or maybe I should say it like this. 2,500 task order awards have been issued against the Stars 2 GWAC since 2011. 90% of those are directed. So 90% of the time, people are issuing directed task orders without competition. Okay? Just to give you an idea how that GWAC is mostly being used. The other 10% are going to be over $4 million, and you got to provide for opportunity. The VETS GWAC, 353 task order awards. I'll be honest about the VETS GWAC. The VETS GWAC was going gangbusters back when we first awarded. We had a really good partnership with the VA, and the VA was a big user of the VETS GWAC, but then VA issued the T4. And so they've got their own acquisition vehicle now. So we, the Small Business GWAC division, need to do a better job of making awareness, creating awareness about that contract vehicle. But the Vets GWAC is a great vehicle, especially if you need that SDVO SB credit, or maybe if you don't even need it. Their industry partner base has quite the capability set and can just give you that SDVO SB credit as just an add-on. Alliant Small Business, 514 task order awards. So that's 514 times that task orders have been issued and given fair opportunity. As you can see, if you could imagine that if every solicitation got back 20 offers, there wouldn't be 500 task orders on there, would there? People would shy away from it because it's too burdensome, it's too cumbersome. They use it because it's easy, and I get a lot of proposals. They're only getting about 4 or 5. Task order values is the third one down, and what we've done here is we've just telling you how much money is going through the contract vehicles. This $2.3 billion, for those of you who can't see, $2.3 billion, the first number is what's obligated. The second number is what's the estimated value. So obligated, we like to say, is the money that's actually gone through the hands of our industry partners. The second number, did I go back? Oh, there we go. The second number is if those task orders, all the options are exercised and it comes to fruition, that's what the value will be. So $2.3 billion going through the hands of 8A contractors. And we expect $4.3 billion to come from that. The Vets GWAC, $1.7 billion. Actually, I think I looked last night and it was $1.8 billion. So these are active contracts. These are popular contracts. And the Alliant Small Business GWAC, $4.6 billion. So a lot going through these contract vehicles. In the bottom, it says top 3 customers. So in the 8A stars too, DOD, State, and Department of Agriculture, really, really big users of our GWACs. The Vets has VA, VA is still our biggest customer on Vets, the Air Force, DOD. And Alliant Small Business, Energy, Department of Defense, and Army are our biggest customers. I get all this information from a tool that I have called the GWAC dashboard, and I don't want to make a shameless plug about it, but the dashboard is great for all task order information against the GWACs. And how industry partners use it is they say, I want to know who's buying this or that. How you guys typically tell me what you want is that, hey, I want to issue a GWAC task order award, but can you let me know, has my office used it before? Cool, no problem. Can you let me know who in my office has issued a task order before? So if you guys want a level of comfort in going to that person saying, how was your experience, how did it work, let me know, I can provide that information to you, okay? Here's some task order successes. Stars 2, a big task order, $138 million for the Department of Labor. Some people don't even think an 8A can do $20 million worth of work. We've got several. There's the biggest one right there. Alliant. Alliant's our big one, right? It's not one I'm here to talk about today, but $2.5 billion on a single task order award. That's pretty impressive. That's some IT solutions. Alliant Small Business has the big one, $582 million with the Department of Energy, and $119 million on Vets from EPA. So these are just ones that I pulled out, the sizable ones when I took a look last night. So if you've got a sizable requirement, it may come out that one of the small businesses isn't appropriate for it. You might take it over to my friend JJ here in the Alliant group. But there's pretty good possibility that a small business can do it too if you give it a fair shake, a fair opportunity. And we can help you with that. We can do things such as, some people call them RFIs, we call them capability statement requests. If you want to see if our industry partners have the capability to do it, let me know. I'll put a survey together, I'll keep your name off of it, I'll ask the questions that you want to ask, and I'll send it to our industry partners. Say, give me a week. Give me a week, I'll put a bow on it, send you back the report that says 40% of our industry partners say they can do this, 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 and this. Okay? So keep that in mind. Those are the type of services that we provide and ways I can help you. Some guidance when it comes to ordering. We talked a little bit about this. You can do a direct order, direct bill, in which you conduct your own acquisition. You contracting officers over here and a few over here. You do it yourself if you want to. Because if you don't want to do it, you don't have time, you're in a crunch, GSA's assisted acquisition service can help. I will say that there is a fee. And the natural question you probably ask me, or that I always get is, Herman, what's that fee? And I say, it depends, right? The magic answer. And it really does. They provide a great service. They can put together requirements. They do the evaluation, post the solicitation, whatever. That office, that's how those people get paid. That's how they keep the doors open and the lights on, by a fee. So based on the complexity is what the fee is. But what I've always heard is that what you get is worth the fee. Okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? The bottom bullet talks about obtaining, make sure your OCO gets their DPA online. The DPA is the thing I'm going to talk to the contracting officers about when we get done, so you have full access to the contract vehicle. How do I obtain a DPA? Let's not worry about this slide, folks. We'll talk about this afterwards. But essentially what it's saying is that if you wanted to get a DPA, you need to be here doing what we're doing now. Or you need to read the ordering guide. Or you need to take a DAU course. It's just part of GSA's quality assurance, so we know that we don't have to report to OMB that somebody bought 300 tables on a GWAC. Okay? More information, how we can help you. This is the part of my job that I like helping you guys. We can help you with eBuy. Remember I talked about eBuy and how all of our industry partners are pre-populating to eBuy. If you need some help with that, let me know. Happy to help you navigate with that. We've got, on our website, we've got our contracts, the three of the contracts for the contract families I mentioned. You know, those contracts have all the terms and conditions, clauses, and all those type of things with them. Another great resource is our ordering guide. It's about 55 or 60 pages, and I don't know if an acquisition manual can be a good read, but I would call it a decent read. You can download it as a PDF. You can save it in your library. You can share it with other members of your acquisition team. It's a great pamphlet on what to do, what not to do. Somebody was talking to me today about, how do I know I'm getting a small business when I issue a task order award? Well, maybe you can do a task order size re-representation. All that stuff and all that language is in that ordering guide, okay? When I get a list of everybody who's in this class, well, I guess the people who came and buzzed and left too, but when I get a list of all you guys, I'm going to send you an email with all these links. That you don't have to navigate through this PowerPoint. You can click right on the link and get to the information that I'm telling you about. Our DAU training is online. If you guys have people in your acquisition workforce that weren't able to come today or whatever reason and they're looking for some CLPs, they can go to the DAU website and they can learn about GWACs that way, okay? The GWAC dashboard, I talked a little bit about a dashboard. Dashboard has data. If you guys want to know who's using the GWACs in your agency, let me know and I can run some reports on that GWAC, okay? All right. 8A Stars 2 pricing tool. I didn't go too much in the weeds about each one of these GWACs because they just wanted me to get an overview class, but the 8A Stars 2 GWAC has 582 industry partners that have proposed pricing over 5 years, over 31 geographic localities, for 141 labor categories, across 4 functional areas across 2 constellations. Now, I don't know if you guys are keeping up, but if you do the math, it's 230 million data points. Could you imagine looking at an Excel document with 230 million data points? I refuse. So we have what we call a pricing tool. The pricing tool is a great tool where you just go through your requirement, and in this tool you have the drop-down menu, and you pick this, you pick that, you pick this, that. You hit a nice button, and it runs a report that says company XYZ's loaded hourly rate for senior architect is $97.63 an hour for year 5. Say, what the heck, maybe I want to see all 582 industry partners. You can pull them all in, and you can do some comparative analysis against all of those GWACs. You can even do some statistical analysis, the high, the low, the mean, the median. So you can really use that to help with your IGCE and knowing where you're probably going to land in terms of how much money you're going to spend. Or maybe not how much you spend, but kind of where you're going to end up. Market research assistance is something we do, folks. This is about 2 minutes ago when I said, if you have a requirement, you just want to see, hey, Herman, the proof's in the pudding. Prove to me that your small businesses can do it. Let me know. I'll put together a survey. I'll send it to all of our industry partners. I'll keep you out of it. And there's no commitment. If you ask me to do that, I'm not going to say, well, you asked me to do it. I expect you to use a GWAC. Folks, I could care less if you use a GWAC. I want you to use the appropriate acquisition vehicle for what needs to get done and for you to carry out your agency mission, okay? But I'll help you with that by letting you know whether or not a GWAC is a good fit. Or I'll help you make that determination by giving you that, and you can make up your own mind. GWAC scope review. In my opinion, this is the greatest service that we offer in the GWAC program. IT has changed so much in the past 30 days, I call it. I really meant to say 5 or 6 years, but 30 days came to mind. But what was IT 5 years ago, maybe isn't IT now, right? It's just kind of something we do. If you're ever unsure, if you look at the scope of the GWAC and you're ever unsure if this is a good IT fit or an IT solution, let us know and we'll take a look. We've got a team of contracting officers who twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, they took a look at your statement of work, statement of objectives, whatever, and they provide a response in writing that says your requirement gets a green light, a yellow light, or a red light. And we all know what those are, right? But what's great about it is that you get the response in writing, and you can include that in your contract file. Okay? So if you ever get audited and people want to know, why'd you use a GWAC, or why'd you think it was a good idea to use GWAC? Well, I let 6 other people, procuring contracting officers in the GWAC program, look at it, and they thought it was good as well. Okay? It's fast. We have a goal of 2 days. If you send us something within 2 business days, we'll get it back to you. It's free. There's no charge for it. And I don't know, as importantly as free, there's no commitment. Use a GWAC? Cool. If you don't, cool. Remember, it's all about you guys and using the right vehicle, okay? But if you want to know, or if you want to sleep easy at night knowing that your requirement is a good fit for a GWAC, let's do this, okay? Send me an email. I can show you guys how to do it. It's painless, and in 2 days you get something in writing. Coming soon. So I've talked about how the GWAC program looks now. Now we're going to talk about the future, and we're not going to talk really in depth about it because I don't have the authority to talk about it. The 8A Stars 2 on-ramp. Traditionally, well, not traditionally, but GWACs, so you guys know the schedules program has rolling submission, right? If a company gets to a point and they want to be on a schedule, by God, they can apply and they can get on the schedule if they make it through the process. GWACs aren't like that. GWACs have a certain open and close period. Okay? If you don't make it, and when I say if you, I'm referring to an industry partner, any industry partners in the room, if you don't make it or reply to that solicitation by the 30 or 45 days, whatever it is, it's going to be years and years before another GWAC rolls around. Okay? This can create a problem sometimes. I mean, what about these new emerging companies who are doing great work and they deserve a GWAC, but we're just not going to award one. We're not ready to do another evaluation. That's the case of what we did with the 8A Stars 2 on-ramp, the top bullet. So we had those 582 industry partners, and we said, let's bring some fresh blood into this vehicle. So what you're going to see is if you guys are interested in taking a look at the 8A Stars 2 GWAC, you're going to see an influx, and I don't know what's going to happen because I haven't been privy to this information. You're going to see quite a few more industry partners being pushed to that GWAC. And the idea isn't to bombard you guys when you go to for opportunity or anything like that, but the idea is to get the best in class, the upcoming industry partners an opportunity, okay? So you'll see that going on over the next couple years. Alliant and Alliant 2 small business. So Alliant small business, virtually the same GWACs. One of them was a set aside for small business and one of them was a full and open. Great contract vehicles. You know, I showed you the statistics of, you know, all that money running through it. We decided, or I should say the people who make a lot more money than me decided that we should have follow-ons. So you guys will probably be hearing about Alliant 2 and Alliant 2 small business over the summer, over the fall, things like that. When you guys hear about that, it's fine. It's just a follow-on to the current Alliant and Alliant small business GWAC. What I wanted to leave you guys with is that Alliant 1 and Alliant 1 small business have plenty of what I call gas in the tank. If you got a long-term requirements on those contracts can go out to 2024, okay? Okay. And the last thing is the VETS 2 GWAC. Anybody heard of VETS 2? Maybe you saw FedBizOps. Scott, you heard of it? VETS 2 is the follow-on to the VETS 1 GWAC. And we're in that period now. Remember I told you these solicitations don't come along very often. The last time the VETS GWAC was open was, heck, it got awarded in 2007, so I'm going to say 2006-ish, late 2005. So since then, there hasn't been an opportunity to add new blood to the contract vehicle. We're there now. If you guys know industry partners who talk and they're veteran-owned or SDVOSBs, it might be worthwhile to say, have you heard about VETS 2 on FedBizOps? What the heck? I don't know. Maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe they can get their ducks in a row and get it going. But I just want you guys to know that VETS 2 is, we're in the, it's on FedBizOps now, and so we're going to be going through the evaluation, and before too long, we're going to have a VETS 2 GWAC, okay? 234, and we're wrapping it up. the summary. The GWACs offer value to the customers. Hopefully you've picked that up through hopefully some good examples of the things that I've talked to you about. Socioeconomic goals. If socioeconomic goals are important for you, these small business GWACs can get it done. These are solutions-based contracts. And when I say solutions-based, I want to give you an example. Let's say we're doing a big overhaul of our new network infrastructure. We're doing an overhaul. And one of the things that needs to be done is we got to dig a tunnel underground because we're going to go from this room to that room. Digging a tunnel underneath the ground, guys, is not an IT service, is it? But it's integral to the IT solution getting accomplished, right? So what I want to leave you with is that when you think of IT services and solutions, I want you to think of everything that goes into creating that. When just a regular Joe looks at a requirement, they need to say this was an IT service. However, these other things that we needed to make it work, that's fine, okay? Don't have to worry about ODCs and things like that. If something is integral and necessary, it can be done on a GWAC task order world. Shortened procurement lead time, and I've talked about how great our industry partners are. Limited protestability. Anybody remember that threshold on the value of where you're protestable proof? Well, I can't hold up 10 fingers, but Scott, I think I heard you say it, $10 million, okay? We support competition through fair opportunity. Even if you send something out on eBuy to 580 industry partners and you only get 2 responses back, that's not our problem. We gave everybody an opportunity, right? So we've taken care of that through eBuy. And flexibility of contract types, firm fixed price, labor hour, time and material, cost reimbursement type contracting. All those can be done on our GWAC. This last slide has contact information. But the most important contact information was the email that I gave you earlier today. These are group email boxes, and we do our best to check them, but rest assured knowing that I'll check mine. So anybody that walked in later, my email is Herman, which is HERMAN .Lyons, LYONS, @gsa.gov. So if I could leave you with anything on each one of these GWACs, would be that these GWACs really speed up your procurement, especially the 8A Stars 2 GWAC. If you need something cut fast, I've seen task orders cut in a little less 48 hours. Okay? You're looking for, great industry partners. The VETS GWAC, Alliance Small Business GWAC, great industry partner base on there. If you guys want to talk about maybe the examples, some of the types of work that has been done on those GWACs, let me know. I'll shoot you over a report of all the types of work that's been done and all that kind of stuff.